Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. And today we're going to continue on with what we were doing yesterday with GraphQL and WordPress and React. But I got a pull request from Harshit, so we're going to go over that. So I have on a separate branch right now that pull request. And I haven't merged it yet, partly because I've been working on other things and I didn't really have time to. But I did have time to start to go through this pull request a bit. And it looks great. I'm just trying to get my head around what's going on because I've never worked with this before. So just to sum up the pull request, what he's done is he's taken out Redux, and instead, we're just using Apollo to work with our with GraphQL, and it's interesting. I'll show you. So we have some new DevTools stuff going on here with our Apollo tools. But if we go back to our Redux, you can see we actually have the state showing up here like it would normally. So in the description for the pull request, this is pull request 1 in the GitHub repo that's linked in the description if you want to check out what was changed. But Harshit mentions that there is basically Redux is being used by Apollo anyway behind the scenes. So that makes sense. So I want to check this out, and I want to get everyone's opinion on, whether or not is this the best route to go, just to completely cut out Redux and work with Apollo, and because I don't know, because I haven't worked with it before. And let me lay out before we do our first session, and basically the first session is going to be going through some of this code before we even start to code anything else, just so that we're all on the same page. But what I'm thinking is, would there be some reason down the road that we would want to use Redux as well? And if that's the case, should we try to incorporate Redux right off the bat, or should we wait, and if we need it, then bring it in? So that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. So I'll give everyone a chance to think about that. If you've worked with Redux and Apollo before, just let me know. Or if it's better just to go with Apollo, and if we can accomplish the same things with Apollo that we could with Redux, then I just need to learn how to do it like that then. Okay, cool. Alright, Harshit says it's not that complex of an app. You're right, yeah, it's not really complex. I think I mentioned yesterday, I'd like to add a little bit more complexity to it, but for now, it isn't. Really, we're just getting data about posts from WordPress, and we're displaying those posts. And then everything else is really just we want to allow users to search for posts, and we want them to be able to filter posts based on categories, based on date. And then beyond that, we just want to display those posts in different ways, which really doesn't have much to do with our store or where the data is. That's more of just creating different views and putting that same data into the views in different ways. Okay. All right. Let me bring over my timer. Where's it at? All right. Let's bring over my timer. I'm going to start this Pomodoro timer, so we'll do 25 minutes of coding, or at least code review, and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break, answer any questions that are in the live chat, and then we'll come back and do another 25-minute session. We'll probably just do 2 Pomodoro sessions of coding today. We'll see how it goes, but we'll do at least 2. And let's see. it looks like my analytics may be off. Occasionally they're off at the very beginning of a stream, but it looks like we have a lot fewer people than we normally do. So let me know, did you all get a notification? Occasionally if I don't schedule the stream until later in the day, sometimes the notifications don't go out normally. It looks like I got one on my phone, but anyway, I still have to do the work whether or not anybody's watching, so we're definitely going to continue. Okay, cool. Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin. And Kevin did get a notification, so. All right. Okay. Awesome. So I see some more people in here now. Yeah, my analytics are definitely off because there are more people talking in the live chat than registering on the YouTube analytics. So I'm not going to trust those for now. I do want to remember to start my ngrok server, so I'm going to do that right now. And I'll copy the link in. So in the live chat, there's now a link. You can click that, and then you can see in real time all the changes that we're making. You can inspect it in DevTools, and it'll be a lot easier to kind of see what's going on. All right, so let's go through some of the code. If you want to look at it more on your own, like I mentioned earlier, check out pull request 1 in the GitHub repo that's linked in the description, and then you'll be able to see the explanation and exactly what was changed. But I'm going to go through some things. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff that is not there anymore. It's not needed. I think this one also is not needed. So the big thing to notice right off the bat is we have no more actions or reducers. Okay, so if we're not using Redux, we don't need any of that Redux stuff. So that's all gone. We also don't need this this API utility. Okay, so that's gone as well. You'll notice that the components are all much smaller. And let's go back to, here we go. All right, so we do have a few things, and I guess I'll start with this one because it's up here. Not sure if it's the best order, but so we have a GraphQL folder now, and within that we have mutations, which there's nothing in this file yet. But under our queries, under posts, you can see, just like yesterday, whenever we put in a query, we structured it just like this. Well, I don't think we had the featured image in there, but basically we structured it like this to get the data back. So now we have two queries that are built out here. So single post query to get a particular post. So we're passing in an ID here. And then we get all posts here, so we're just asking, for all the posts. I mean, this is, so far, I haven't used GraphQL very much at all, but I'm liking this. You can look at this and immediately know, all right, I know exactly what data I'm going to get back. That's cool. It's not always so apparent with the REST API. The WordPress REST API, I could look at the URL that I'm putting in and know that I'm getting posts. But I wouldn't necessarily know, all the other stuff that I'm getting unless I'm already familiar with what I get back from that API. So I really like that. It makes it, easy to know immediately what's going on. And let's go. Here we have our Apollo client. So whereas yesterday we had a lot of this stuff in our app.js file, now we just import all of that in. So it cleans up the app.js file a bit. We import it in. We're bringing this in the same way, but we no longer are passing in the store. Okay, so other than that, I mean, well, with the exception of removing all the stuff that pertain to Redux, it's pretty much the same here. So now let's actually check out our home component where we're displaying some of this stuff. So if you notice on the site, which I'm not sure where the site's at. I had it up. I'll have to find it. I have way too many things open on my other screen here. Alright, here we go. So the site now, it's pulling data from somewhere else, not from my website. So that's why it's all different. But you can see for this home page, it's just displaying all the posts, right? So it's using that first query that gets all the posts, and then if we click inside it, then it takes us to a single post page, a post detail page that uses that second query that actually passes the ID, which we can see the post ID here, and gets the information. All right, so that's what's going on in terms of how it looks, and here's the code for that. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't notice it. Like I said, I didn't really have a chance to go through everything in here. Current user for layout, login, avatar URL. Okay, so it looks like this is in here for when we implement the login system. So probably, correct me if I'm wrong, Harshit, but this is probably not doing much of anything right now since we don't have a login system hooked up. This is not the code. Wait, Harshit says this isn't the code. Oh, okay, you know what? Maybe it's still displaying the code, the previous code. Let me reopen that. Where am I at? There we go. That's it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that that looked a little odd. I guess I had put that in there yesterday and didn't remember that I did it. Okay, I think that was the example I copied and pasted from somewhere. Okay, thanks for letting me know about that. Okay, so here's what's going on now. So we're bringing in GraphQL, and this, from what I understand, and just a disclaimer here, I'm seeing a lot of this for the first time. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a learning episode for this stream here. But from what it looks like is we're bringing in GraphQL here, and we're calling that query get all posts. And then what I'm assuming happens, because otherwise I don't know how the data would be displayed, is that when we do that, those posts end up getting into here as props. So this props data, and then under posts we'll have all our posts. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean that just doesn't seem like, obviously it has to be getting into props somehow. So I think that's it. So we can determine what query we want. So I think I closed that window out, but if you remember, we had our queries. So get all posts. That's what we're using down here. And cool, I like that. So added a little loading thing. So if there are no posts, we're loading. If there are posts, then we actually display the posts. I like that. That's nice. You can see really clean, definitely clean things up a lot. So I like this. So I still need to learn more, you know, to work with it myself. But I do really like this. The other one that we'll have some code with, and okay, and we're bringing in that query, and Okay, so we're using the constructor bind. Okay, we're doing the loading thing up here like this. Alright, so down here we're doing the single post detail, but then options, match ID. Okay, so we're grabbing the ID from our match params. We're passing in like that. Okay. I want to check out the other file here. I want to check these out side by side. Why did that not work? Alright, so something's up with Adam for me. So I guess I'm not gonna do this side by side right now. Let's see. Post detail ID. Alright, that's interesting to me that that it gets passed in like this. I would have thought that we would have passed it in more like a regular function, but instead it's like the second argument of this of GraphQL. All right, so that's something I'll have to look up more, but basically, I mean that's it. That's pretty much all that was added to be able to get everything to display like you can see on the site if you go to the link posted earlier. So let's forget to start my timer. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the time for now, and then I'll start the timer for the next one. Let's see. Alright, I was just checking the live chat briefly. Okay. Alright, so I guess what I'd like to do now then is try to hook this up with as cool as all this these comic books are. I would like to hook this up with the data that we were working with yesterday, and also at some point we need to hook up either a custom post type, or if we can stick with posts, we need to have some custom fields for the posts. So we're going to work on that. I don't know if we'll get into that today, but let's get some data in there, some of the other data in there, and I don't know, I mean, I guess if I can wrap my head around how things are working, then there's really no reason why we couldn't start to actually build this out a little bit more with a UI that's closer to what it's actually going to be like. So let's start on that. I need to grab, let's see, I believe that our Apollo client is where we can put this in. Yep, that's it. So we're going to go jesseweigel.com/GraphQL, and let's see what we get. So far I just get a lot of loading. Alright, so nothing so far. Let's see what's going on. Whoa. Failed to fetch. That's interesting. Is my site down What's going on? My site's still working. Okay. For some reason, this is not working. Response proof invalid. That's really odd. Let me make sure this plugin is still active. GraphQL active, yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm not really sure what the problem is. Let me go here. Let's find our queries, get all posts. Let's try to run this here. Okay, yeah, we're still not getting anything. Let's run this again. Interesting. Okay. Maybe. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted post. Alright, post edges now. Post edges now. Interesting. Okay, well, we could just go back to using the other one for now, and then I can look into what's going on. That'll probably be the best thing to do for now. So let me just go back. Let's go back to this. And oops. Sorry. Where are we at? Run this. Yep. Okay. So that is working. Categories. Let's try to get some categories as well. I wonder if we get all posts. let's try to make another query, and let's say categories. Let's see what we need for category. There we go. Categories, edges, node. Let me see. Maybe there are no categories in here, so that's why I'm not getting categories. Okay, that's what Harsha said, no categories. Okay, well, we are going to need categories at some point, so we can grab this and at least make it. Oh, cool. Harsha says, otherwise I would have built that too for you. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's probably good that there's some stuff that I still need to build. That way I'll learn how to do it too. So let's put that in. So we have our post.js. So let's make a categories.js, and then we can make, I mean, we won't really be able to test it out because there are no categories, but once I figure out what's going on with the WordPress, my WordPress site, and why I can't get data from it, then we can test it out with categories. But if we use this as an example, I'm sure it'll work when the time comes. So let's, in queries, let's make a new file. We're going to call this categories.js. And what are we going to do? Oops. I wanted to see posts. Let's just copy everything, paste it in there, and then we'll also get this again, and we'll paste it in instead of this one. Get all categories, and all categories, and I guess we can also get a single category. I don't know that we would need to. I'm not going to put that in now because I can't really see a case where we would need to get a single category by ID. So I'm going to leave it off for now. And let's see, we'll just export this. Really, I want more than the ID. Let's at least try to get the slug, and what else? I guess I'm not sure if it would be category name or if it would be category title, because I haven't seen that data. Okay, let me keep an eye. All right, so it is time for me to do a 5-minute break for question and answer. So let me do that now. And I'm going to scroll up to the top of the live chat here and just go down through, see if there's any questions I can answer. Okay, so Rolando would like to know of a simple tutorial to begin learning React. So there are some good YouTube videos that are introductions to React. Learn Code Academy is a YouTube channel that has some good intro to React videos. They are a few years old, but the general concepts of React are still the same. Even though maybe some of the syntax will be a little bit different, you know, in the current version. Also, I think there are some React videos on the freeCodeCamp channel. Sorry. It seems like this time of day I'm always yawning, no matter what. Even if I get enough sleep or enough caffeine, I'm just yawning. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else is good for React. If you like kind of like the in-browser tutorial stuff, Code Academy has yeah, they have an in-browser tutorial. I haven't checked it out for a while. I did it when it first came out, so they may have more than one out now. So those are the ones that are just coming to my mind. Okay. Okay, Marco asked, how is this loading page being displayed? And I think I showed that code, but let's we'll take a look at it again in case I didn't really explain it. But you can see here is where the loading takes place. So it just simply checks to see if there are posts. So basically, if there aren't any posts yet in this props data post, then its displays loading. Otherwise, if posts exist, then it displays everything. So initially, when everything loads, there won't be posts, right? Because we still have to tell GraphQL to use this query to get the data. But then once the data comes in, then it gets put into props. Then it will display. So that's where the loading is coming in. John Lund said, "You sound a bit English, Jesse." I've never even been to England, so I don't know, but I actually really like to watch a few English YouTubers that have cooking shows. Maybe it's rubbing off on me, I don't know. But I'm not English. I would say if there's any influence on my accent, my pronunciation of words, it would probably be a Pittsburgh influence, because I live pretty near to Pittsburgh. But I don't know if anybody has ever been to Pittsburgh. You know, they have quite a few words that are very unique to Pittsburgh, and I don't usually use the Pittsburgh slang terminology, but the people that live right across the street from me growing up were like, they definitely had the Pittsburgh accent, used all the Pittsburgh words, so it could have rubbed off on me. Let's see. Arturo says, asks, you took all the Redux code out? Yeah, so, well, I didn't. Harshit did in his pull request, and that's what we're checking out right now. But yeah, so it looks like we're not going to use Redux. We won't really have to. Okay. All right, Kevin says, by the way, that GQL stuff is a tagged template string. Okay, let's check that out, because I did wonder about that. All right, so GQL. Alright, I'm not familiar with tagged template strings, so I may have to look that up. Interesting. Cool. Alright, so my 5 minutes is up. So I'll come back to the live chat and go through the rest of it after our next coding session. Let's see. But for right now, let's go back. Let's make sure we save that. And cool. Alright, I just scrolled down to the bottom of the live chat, and I'm just going to mention the last 2 comments before I start the next session here, because they're awesome. So, Checkpoint says, you guys are amazing, and I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. And then Sahil says, finally caught your live stream. So, awesome. Really glad that you could catch the live stream. It's awesome. So feel free to ask any questions or contribute in the live chat. Okay. Oh, I do have to ask a question. I told a friend of mine that I would ask if anyone knew of any good beginner resources or books on VBA. So I guess they're going to try to learn that. So anyway, let me know. I don't know if anybody knows, but I have no idea of any resources on it. So he had asked me about it 2 days ago, and I forgot to ask yesterday. So if anybody knows, let me know. Otherwise, don't worry about it. I'm sure he'll be all right. He's a smart guy. All right. So at this point, I don't really want to spend a lot of time troubleshooting my WordPress site. I don't really think that would be worthwhile to do at this point, especially since I'm not. At first, I'm just going to do a little bit of research, so that's not really good to like watch somebody else Google. I don't think that's very fun. So let's do some UI stuff. Which maybe we should bring in MaterialUI. So if you're not familiar with MaterialUI, I'll bring it up. So material-ui.com. For our last project, we used this version of MaterialUI, the old version. And this is simply a framework of React components that follow the material design guidelines. But I'm thinking, yesterday I did some reading of the documentation of the newest version of MaterialUI, and I think we may use this. They have some good stuff in here, so we're going to try to use this. I know last time we tried to use this, it had just came out and it didn't really go so well, but I think at this point there should be enough information out there that I can get it to work. Actually, let me see. Okay, Harsha just put in the live chat, you need to downgrade WP GraphQL. Okay, is that going to fix the issues that we're having? Okay, I just looked up a little bit farther. Oh, okay, so it looks like there's some sort of breaking change. Alright, well, it's worth a shot to check this out. WP GraphQL GitHub. See if they have a change log. No. Okay. This looks like maybe this is our problem. When requesting an authenticated 403 status should return. Okay, release this tab. Alright, so I missed that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I forgot to start it again. Got to start my timer. Let me start the timer for 25 minutes. All right, so I'm not gonna reset or go back to a previous version right now. There's basically, I'd like to stick with the most current version and then just do whatever I need to do to my WordPress installation to make this work. Obviously, there's something you can do to make it work because it's working with you know, the demo WordPress installation. So I think I'd rather do that and be able to stick with the newest version. But this may point me in the right direction to see what I need to do. But for now, let's bring this in. Thank you. Kevin just reminded me that my face was covering the timer again. Thanks for that. I'll get used to that eventually. I just I streamed without my face being there for so long. Now I just can't seem to remember that it's there. I hope I don't make any weird faces because I forget that you all can see me. So let me know if I'm doing something strange. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so this is the problem. So Harshit says the demo uses the older version. That's why it works. Okay. That makes so much sense now. Alright, we know what I'm going to do actually. At some point in the... Maybe I might not get to it today, but hopefully, you know, before the next stream on Monday, I'm going to reach out to the creator of this plugin. So the person who created this plugin got a hold of me on Twitter yesterday afternoon, and actually gave me access to the Slack channel for this plugin, and offered to talk to me. And even potentially talk on the stream and explain more about the plugin and how to use it. So I'll reach out to him, and his name's Jason Ball. So I'm gonna reach out to Jason and just kind of ask him what's up with the new version and how do I get it working. And then we'll get that all sorted out then. I also think I'm going to submit a pull request to update the documentation a little bit, because I think we had a little bit of trouble in trying to get that to work yesterday. I don't think the documentation needs a lot of work in terms of, by documentation, I mean the stuff that they have in the README on GitHub. The actual documentation that you can click through to get to their site on is not bad. But some of the stuff in the video, I think, would be good to have in the README in the GitHub repo. Okay. So let's do that. So anyway, thanks Harshit for all the info as well. That's like saving me so much time of troubleshooting. So let's bring in, I gotta go to my terminal first. Let's see. Should we merge this now, or should we just keep working? So I made another branch called No Redux. I guess I don't have to merge it right now during the stream, but I'm just thinking, are we 100% sure, you know, we want to go with this and we won't want to go back to what we had before? I'm pretty sure that we want to go with this, but I'll hold off and merge it later. For now, let's go yarn add. What do you use this? Your two icons. I guess we can install this as well. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever brought in a Google font with NPM. I'd like to try it though. Okay, so we're going to try to bring this in, and then we can just import this into our root component, and then I suppose we'll be able to use it. So that's seems convenient. Give it a shot. Okay, and where's our app.js? We'll bring it in here. Okay. All right, so we'll just put in just very basic stuff to get started. So let's see. Let's make sure. Yeah, that's it. That's all for installation. And oh, interesting. So they have a create React app example. Okay, so nothing there. Let's see what they have. That's interesting. This is definitely different than the other version that we had used. All right, so let's just bring in some components that we know we'll need. So we'll definitely need that top app bar. Where am I at? Here we go. So let's bring that in. Let's see what we got. No, it's not under here. Components, app bar. Okay, yeah, so this is what we'll want. And wow, quite a bit. Okay. Alright, let's bring that into, we don't want it in app.js, let's put it in home. Eventually at some point we'll probably have a layout component so we don't have to bring this in all the time, or but for now I don't mind doing it like this just to make it easy to adjust until we get it to a point where we really like how it looks. So let me bring this in for now. Oh, I thought I had copied something different. Let me bring this in. Now, let's see. Their app bar. Let's see if we want. Okay, yeah, let's bring these in first. Yeah. Alright, so hopefully our app will look a little bit more exciting here in a minute. Let's do that a bit differently. Let's save that and see if we get errors. Yeah, classes is not defined, undefined. Oops, and paste the prop types. And alright, let's see if we get it now. Alright, so we're getting some errors, and you can see if you're if you've clicked on the ngrok link, then you could probably see these as well. Let's go through some of these errors. Line 35. Alright, so we're getting missed something. There we go, that's what I missed. I'm sure somebody in the live chat already caught that. How do we do this? Function. How about I just... Oops. Alright. Post is not defined. Where are we at? What did I just do? Oh, I took out the wrong thing. Button app bar is not defined. Oh, I put it. No, I put it in the right spot. Oh, you know what I did? Did I? Yeah. Let's see if we can get it to work. No, we do in fact need that. Let me check the last chapters. Okay. Oh, did I not bring in? Alright, I think I need to bring in prop types. I'm pretty sure we don't have that. Right, didn't prop types used to be a part of React, and then now you actually have to bring them in, correct? Okay, let's give this another shot. Where we at? Wait a second. Oh my goodness. Alright, I feel really silly right now. Obviously, because the component's name is button app bar in this. Okay. Alright. Oh my goodness. So we don't even really need that, but just to get it to work, let's... What? Cannot read property of undefined. I'm pretty sure we got pretty much everything from this. Oh. Alright, how are we going to do this? Alright. Okay. This is a good question. Alright, so it seems like I've missed this here at the bottom. We have to do, we have to say with styles, and then button app bar. But how do we combine that with what we're doing here? I seriously doubt. Let's see. I doubt we could just put them side by side. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. We're already getting an error. There's no way that's gonna work. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it's not gonna work. How can we make this work? You didn't wrap it with MUI provider. Let's see. Usage. Yeah, I don't think we needed to. Let me check this example again. Let's see what they did here. Render, React on page index. Yeah, so they didn't wrap the root component in anything there. We can check our pages, see what they did here. Okay, see what they did. Styles, index. We could try to do. Let's try that. All right, so Harshit put in the live chat to try it like this, but we still don't have styles in there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so when we do it like that, we're not getting the post back. I don't know. I'm thinking about just going back to the old MaterialUI again. Let's see. Let's see what they're doing for the components. Oh, so this is where they're wrapping the theme and everything. Alright. Well, I definitely don't have enough time in this Pomodoro session to deal with this. Okay. Okay. I still have to look into that. Let me know what you think, though, because I'm about to do question and answers. Is it worth it to try to do the latest version of MaterialUI, or should I just go back to the old version that we've used before? Potentially just waiting until it's not in beta anymore and then using it. Let's see. I'm gonna go back and try to go back to see what version we're on. Yeah, we're on. It's still in beta. Okay. Anyway, let me know about that. So I'm gonna switch over to the question and answer session. So, yes. So if you can stick around for the question and answer session, and even if you don't have a question, you could help answer questions. That would be awesome. It would definitely value your opinion. Otherwise, thanks for watching. It was kind of a mixed bag today. I had some cool stuff with Apollo and getting things to work. I didn't really do much. Harshit did most of the work, and then completely failed in trying to get the new version of MaterialUI to work. But hopefully it'll be better on Monday. But anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna scroll up and pick up where I left off, answering questions. All right. Okay, so Brett says, is GraphQL making a second API call to get the featured image? And then Kevin responded, the featured image link is fetched in the single API request, but the actual image is loaded in a different request started by the image tag. Okay, that makes sense. And Brett says my fetch calls only have the ID of the featured image in the WordPress REST API, and I have to make another call to get the image URL. Yeah, so yeah, that is interesting. So that's true. With the REST API, you don't actually get the image URL by default with the post. So you can get a plugin that will give you that data, or you can make a second API call since you will have the image ID. But let's see what we're getting. Yeah, let's see what we're getting with that one call. Where are my queries? Oh, you know what? It's not working because of the error. Let's go back. I'm just going to take a lot of this out of here just so we can get something that works. Okay. Now let's see if we can get this. So let's run this. So this is the get all post query, and we can see the data that we're getting back. Let's just get rid of this. The data that we're getting back does have the source URL. So probably what's happening is the way that this plugin is built to get the data from WordPress is it does actually give you the URL. So it's a little different than the WordPress API, which, I mean, this actually makes a lot of sense. I read some issues in the reasoning on why they didn't include the URL in the post, but I don't know, it seems to me like the URL is so much more useful than the image ID. Like, why wouldn't you want that included with, you know, the post request? But Anyway, but that is there, so you don't need a second API call. So Marco says, so basically when using GraphQL with Redux and Apollo, I can just remove Redux from my project. It seems like you could. There potentially, depending on how complex your project is, there may be some reasons for using it. I would think there's probably some things that you would want. Sorry. There's probably some things that you would want globally available in the store that you're not necessarily getting from GraphQL. In that case, then I think maybe you would want to use Redux with Apollo, with GraphQL, unless there's some way using Apollo to add things to the store without them necessarily being data that you get from GraphQL. I don't know yet. I haven't got that far with it. Okay, so we had a question earlier from Rolando about resources for learning React, and Marco says Traversy Media is a great channel to learn React. So I haven't seen anything from Traversy Media myself, but I guess check it out. Marco says they're a good resource. Ferris Moss says, why do you guys keep labeling these as with React? Shouldn't it be with webcam or something? And Kevin responds, React is a JavaScript framework or library. I'm with you there, Kevin. I always go back and forth on calling things frameworks and libraries. But anyway, React is a JavaScript framework created by Facebook to make web development easier. Jesse is using it in this project. So, and Ferris says, okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. I guess that if you're not familiar with the names of the technologies that we're using, the titles of these videos are probably all nonsense. I mean, you just can't explain everything in a title. So, sorry about that. Okay, No Beers here. It says, sorry, I've been busy for the last 2 weeks, so that I can't watch your live session. Oh, it's cool, No Beer. Don't worry about it. I mean, we'd definitely like to have you around for the live session, but I totally understand if you can't be here. I know I'm super busy all the time. If I couldn't do these live sessions at work, then there's no way I'd be able to do it for 1 to 2 hours every weekday. So totally understand about being busy. Let's see. Fathisani says semicolon is missing. No, actually, I don't use semicolons normally. It looked weird for a few minutes there because I was copy and pasting in code that was using semicolons, so it probably looked a mess. But Kevin says semicolons are never missing unless you miss them. I like that, Kevin. That's that. Yeah, so you don't really need semicolons. I know there's some case, and I know we've had it before in the live chat, where it might mess things up if you don't use a semicolon. But I can't remember what that case is offhand, but I remember thinking, wow, I've never had that particular case come up for me. So most of the time you're alright with leaving out semicolons, but we are accepting of different coding styles here on the Free Code Camp live stream. So if you like semicolons, that's cool, and you can hang out with us too. And if you don't like semicolons, then that's cool too. I don't think it matters that much as long as your code works. I think that's more important. Okay. And actually, I got through all the questions, so must be it's a slow day here. Actually, I just checked. Assuming my analytics are right now, we do have a lot less viewers than normal, so that would explain why there is not as much activity in the live chat. We did get one more question. So John Hansen says, I read that full understanding of JavaScript isn't needed to work in React, as it's a library. To me, it still feels too much a mystery. It does things like magic at times. Is it better to build my ES6 first? Knowledge of ES6 definitely helped me with React, but I don't know if this is necessary. Like there's always going to be some magic. I've heard the argument before that like you got to really understand what's going on. I mean, I used to hear years ago when I mean jQuery is still a big thing, but before React was really big, I guess I was more into jQuery, and I would hear people say, you know, you really should read the source code for jQuery and understand how it works behind the scenes. And I mean, that's okay, but to me, it's like jQuery was awesome starting out because you didn't have to know how it all worked. It just worked and you could use it. So if you go behind the scenes and read everything and how they do it with jQuery, then why not just write it in vanilla JavaScript and not import all of jQuery if you know how to do it? So I don't necessarily agree with that argument. If your goal is to learn how everything works in and out, then yeah, go for it. But if your goal is just to make things that work, you don't need to know all the magic behind the scenes. If you do, would you be better at it? Probably. There's definitely, in particular, what comes to mind is performance. So if you don't understand how things work behind the scenes, you may not realize why doing things one way is, you know, way more performant than doing them another way, right? Because you don't know what's going on. You just do something and it works, right? So when it comes down to things like that, a better understanding will definitely help. But, you know, we're talking about usually with those questions the difference of milliseconds. On small projects, that's not a big deal. I mean, if you're working on really huge projects, you know, all that adds up, and, you know, you really, you know, if shaving a few milliseconds makes a big difference. Saving a little bit of, you know, computing time makes a big difference. But if you're just starting out and building some projects with React and they're not huge and they're not, you know, not really important in the sense that, like, a lot of people are dependent on it for, let's say, like, banking or medical things or things that, you know, potentially could have a huge impact on people's lives, then I say don't worry about it. You know, you can use it as long as you can use it enough to build something with. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then as you use it, your knowledge will increase. So I'd just say if you're going to use it and you're not confident in your knowledge of ES6 or of other JavaScript, just make sure that you build up that knowledge as you go. I think it would be wrong to just try to do React and never try to learn. Although I think it would be really hard to do React and not learn more about JavaScript as you're doing it. I think that it just happens naturally as you learn to do more things with React. So anyway, that's my opinion about it. And I know people will disagree because I've read and heard other opinions about that. But there's something to be said for the confidence builder of actually making things that work and are cool. You know, at some point you just got to take that step and just start using things, trying them out. Yeah, maybe you don't understand completely how it works, but like you don't need to. I mean, we don't really need to. You know, you don't need to know everything about electricity and how it works to be able to use, you know, a computer. Or, I mean, think about all the things that go into a computer working. We don't need to know all that stuff. Or do you know all the NPM packages that you have going on behind the scenes and how they work? No, of course not, right? If somebody did know all that stuff, could they make something that's really performant? Probably. But it's just crazy to learn all that. So at some point, you have to say, you know what, here's where my skill level is at right now. I'm going to do what I can with this, and I'll learn as I go along. Anyway, that kind of turned into a rant a little bit at the end, so sorry about that. But anyway, so I would say don't be afraid to try out React and do some things with it, and you'll pick up what you need to pick up as you go along. Let's see. John Hansen says, true, thanks. Problem is there's too much poor documentation and ways people problem solve with examples. It's hard to sift through. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, from that perspective, it can be really hard to learn things with React if you're not familiar with ES6 and you see all these examples with ES6 in them. Then you really have two issues. One, like I haven't shaved since Monday. Yeah, I think I shaved on Monday and then didn't shave. Possibly Saturday. I can't remember. I'm actually down to shaving like once a week now. I've just gotten really lazy about it. It's alright. I mean, luckily where I work, there's no real policy on whether or not you have a beard or shave or anything like that. So I could grow a giant bushy beard if I wanted to. But my wife wouldn't like that. She's not a fan of the beard. Okay. Oh, Harshit says, we'll be making another pool with the MUI. Awesome. Actually, Harshit, if you do that, I'm going to be so happy if you get this this MaterialUI stuff working. That'll be awesome. Let's see. Okay. Well, now I've again gotten to the bottom of the live chat. So I guess I'm going to go for real this time. And I had a great time talking to you all. So the actual coding portion of it for me was a bit disappointing just because my contributions all didn't work. But I did like the question and answer. I enjoyed talking with you all. I mean, I really talked a lot, but I like the questions that we had. So it's Friday. We got a nice weekend coming up. And I'll be back on Monday. But hey, Sebastian's here. Yeah, you're late, Sebastian. I started early, so you missed it. Basically, if you want to know what we did this session, check out pull request 1 on project 4 on the React bulletin project, because the stuff that Harshit did in pull request 1 is pretty much all that I got to work today. Everything I tried did not work. So you didn't miss much there. Oh, okay. John Hansen says it's Thanksgiving holiday in Canada this weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to you, Jesse. Awesome. Happy Thanksgiving. So yeah, to everyone, all my northern neighbors in Canada, have a happy Thanksgiving this weekend. Cool. All right. So yeah. So everybody have a great weekend, especially those in Canada. Have a great holiday weekend, and I'll be back Monday, and hopefully I'll have a more successful time on Monday. But sorry, I couldn't find the button to end the stream, so I was just kind of stalling. All right, but anyway, have a great weekend. I'll see you all on Monday.